Okay, so this is the final review. I'm going to try and teach you how to do it. These two angles for number 1 are vertical angles. So I'm going to write that down for you. So that makes them congruent, which means that they are equal. So I'll set them equal to each other, and then I'll start solving. I'm going to bring this xx over, and I'm going to end up getting negative 2x plus 8 equals negative 18. And then I'll subtract the 8. I'll get negative 2x equals negative 26. Divide by the negative 2, and then x will equal 13. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, so now on to number 2. Remember, supplementary angles add to equal 180. Complementary add to equal 90. Linear pairs the same as 180. Add equal 180. So classic supplementary will make this 120. Then the other one would be 60. So they would add up to be 180. And then complementary is easy. Just make a right angle. Put your right angle notation in. Slice it somewhere. And those two are complementary. Linear pairs form a straight line. You make a line, and then a line coming out of it. So this is supplementary. This is linear pair. And then these are complementary. Okay. Okay, now for the midpoint, remember it's just the averages. These are the x's. And when you have a midpoint, these are the x's. So I'm only going to add the x's to be in this first one. So it's 12 plus negative 8. And then we're going to divide it by 2. Remember, midpoint is divided by 2. And then 9 plus 16 divided by 2. Remember, this is the y position, so only the y's. And then what we end up getting, 12 minus 8 is 4, I hope. 4 divided by 2, and then 25 divided by 2, which will simplify to be 2 and 12.5. And that's how you do that. Okay, supplementary we already know adds to equal 180. We just found that out in number 2. So I'm going to add these up and solve. Okay, I'm going to collect my like terms. Those are like terms. And these are like terms. I like the purple. So that would be 17x. Does not look nice. Okay, so that's 17x. And then 1 plus 9 is 10. And then I'll minus the 10. And then I get 17x equals 170. Divide by 17. And then x equals 10. Nice little bit of solving there. Okay, so the distance formula is as so. It's the square root of the x's subtracted. It doesn't matter which one is 1 and which one's 2. And then you got to square it, and then it's the differences between the y's. And then you square those. Okay, so that's the formula. And again, this could be x1, x2. So I'm going to put that in first. Do things one at a time here. So it would be 5 minus 8. and then I square it, plus, and then the y's, and that would be -2 minus 6. And we'll square it, make sure the square root goes all the way down. And as you can see, I don't have enough room. My stylus does not have a fine point on it. But yeah, so let's see, this would be 3 squared. Try to finish it. So then this would be -3 squared plus, and that would be -8 squared, which is roughly 9 plus 64. 9 plus 64. And using my handy dandy calculator, comes out to be the square root of 73. That's the answer. Alright, so number 6. Given that angle B is congruent to angle A, C is congruent to F, what other piece of information do I need to show? Now I want angle, angle, side, so that's going to be huge. Now I'm no genius, so I'm just going to draw and label these A, B, C. I'm going to make the other one the same, but it'll be D, E, F. And then I know that angle B is congruent to E. You know me and my colors. Color makes the world go round. And then C to F. So now I need to pick a side that needs to be congruent. I could either pick D, F, because that would give me angle, angle, side, or I could choose side AB, because it still would give me angle, angle, side, going that way. So it's your choice. So I'm going to say, drum roll please, AC. I'm going to go with my first one. So then AC, side AC has to be congruent to side DF for these two to be congruent, or congruent by angle, angle, side. Okay, angle 7. So what you have to ask yourself when you have parallel lines, here's my transversal. I'm going to circle the ones they say, angle 2 and angle 4. I notice that they're alternate. They are not on the same side of the transversal, because one is on the left and one is on the right. And then I know that they're both in between the two parallel lines. This is the in between, the interior, and they're in between them, so they're alternate interior angles. And they are congruent. Same side interior, same side exterior, linear pair, supplementary, 180. Okay, for number 8, this is pretty easy. I'm going to write sides here so I stay focused. Now, if I do these sides, just real quickly, PQ, because it's in that order, is going to be congruent to XY. So I'm going to write that. PQ, side, PQ is congruent to side XY. And then I can do the same thing with QR and YZ. So then QR, side, QR is congruent to side YZ. And then the same will be true for the last, P to R, X to Z. So PR, or RP, since I wrote the R first, it's going to be congruent to side XZ. And that'll do it for all the sides. Remember, there's 3 sides, 3 angles. And my angles here. The angles are the easiest because you just go letter by letter. So the first letter is P, and the first letter for the other one is X. Then the second letter is Q. The second letter here is Y. The last letter is R. And then the last letter here. Oops. Not quite the squiggly thing I wanted it to be. Angle Z. Ta-da! So you don't need to have the triangles to do it. Just go in order of the letters. Okay, so for this one, you should notice that the base angles are congruent. Therefore, the sides are. It's isosceles. Remember isosceles running down the hall? So that means that this side is congruent to this side. And remember that these are congruency symbols for angles, right? So that means we have an equation. 3x plus 7 will equal, so it needs to be congruent, 8x minus 8. Again, I'm going to bring my x's together and get negative 5x plus 7 equals negative 8. I'm going to subtract 7. And then I will get negative 5x equals negative 15. Handy dandy calculator. Divided by negative 5. X equals 3. Nice. Alright, so this is just like the other one. I want angle, side, angle though this time, not angle, angle, side. I still have two angles that are congruent, but I still need to draw the triangles. And again, I'm just going to draw basic triangles. I'm not going to get too fancy here. And then I'm going to mark what I know is congruent, A to D, and then C to F. Now the side's in the middle, so this makes this fairly easy. So the one in between the two angles has to be the side. Remember, it's an angle sandwich with the side in the middle. So for this to happen, there's only one way for this one. So it has to be side AC has to be congruent to side DF. There's no other way. Nice. Okay, so I know angle C is congruent to angle F. Mark it. And then I know angle or side BC is congruent to side BF. And now I need to see what else I need for congruency. So side AC, if they were congruent, would be here. I would have side angle side. So far this one's a good one. If I had AB congruent to DE, oh, that would have given me ASS. We don't do that. I'll show you. Okay, so now I can mark side AB and side DE. And again, we don't have a right angle, so there's no way I can have that. That's a bad word. So that one's gone. And then it says BC. I already have BC and EF. No, that's not good. This one was already given. So that was given. And then BC and DE. There's no way BC already equals. That doesn't make sense. So the first one we did happen to be right. So AC has to equal side DF. And then that gives us side, angle, side. So the triangles are congruent. Cool.